In this video, I'm going to show you how we can make a simple text editor. And what we're going to do is we're going to use the OpenFileDialog box, and we're going to also use the SaveFileDialog box and the streamreader and streamwriter. So we can make a text editor, a simple notepad style program. So the first thing you need in a notepad type program is a text box. So I'll put a text box on the form. One of the things that we're going to also need for this text box is a property change for a property called multiline. So here in the properties, I'm going to select multiline and tell it to be true. And because there's going to be multiple lines, I might also need a scroll bar. So I better tell it to use a scroll bar, vertical scroll bar, so I can go up and down and take a look at the text in this program. Then I'm going to use the menu strip tool to make a menu. So I'll put a menu strip up here, and I need room for the text box. There we go. So the first menu will be the file menu, and under file I'm just going to have open, and I'm going to have save. And I guess I probably could do a quit as well. I'm not going to do edit and other menus for this mini editor just yet. Well, let's start with the basics. So the first thing that I need to do is the OpenFileDialog box. And to get an OpenFileDialog box, I'm just going to double click on it, and notice it appears down here next to the menu strip. And that's because you don't see this. We're going to make a call to it, but we're actually not going to see it. And I know I'm also going to need the save dialog box, so I'll click on that, and now I've got a save file dialog box. So let's take a look at how we might code this simple program. So for file and open, what I would do is let's select file and open, and you'll see private sub open tool strip menu. And excuse me, I'm going to then show the dialog box. So how do I show the open dialog box? Well, I make a call to my open file dialog 1, and I press a dot, and I say show dialog. And so show dialog will pop up with the show dialog box. The next thing to do is I want to use the stream reader to read that file into my text box. And so I'm going to create a dummy variable, and I'll call it temp. And what it's going to be is it's going to be a new system IO, and it's going to use the stream reader. So here's the stream reader, and then I tell it to open the dialog of the file that we had selected right here. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to tell the text box and the text in it, so I go dot text, and I'm going to say that it's going to be, we're going to read to the end of the file. And you'll see the method there to read to the end of the file. Great. I'm going to close her off. And that's it. It's that easy. So let's test and see if this program works to open our little mini editor program. So I'm going to go play. And if I select File and Open, the Open dialog appears just like I was anticipating, and I can navigate through my folders and see if I can open up some text. And certainly I opened up a text file, and I can open up, in fact, any text file on my computer that is a text file, and here I open up this other one. Great. What about being able to save the text? So if I've got this file and I want to save the text in the text box, how do I do it? Well, let's take a look, and I'll show you how to do it. So the first thing I need to do is I'm going to go File and Save, and I'm going to select the Save Toolstrip menu item, and I'm going to then call on the saved file dialog box by going save file dialog box dot show dialog. Very similar to what we did with open, but of course I'm making a call to the save file dialog one. The next thing I need to do is I'm going to use the streamwriter, and to get the streamwriter, I'll make a temporary variable, which is going to be a new system IO streamwriter. And then what am I going to write? Well, I'm going to write the SaveFileDialog file name, and that's where I'm going to write it. And then I sort of want to do the opposite of what I did last time. And so what I'm going to do in this case is I'm going to use temp, which is my new system IO, and I'm going to write this time. So I select write. And what am I going to write? It's going to write the text box. Text. And then I'm going to close off the file, of course, like I did last time. Great. And now I've made, in these couple little steps, I've made a simple text editor. So here, let's just try it out. Hello world. And let us see if this simple text and of course, if I wanted to make it HTML, I could make it display HTML. And I could go File and Save. And let's call this hello world.htm and hit Save. I could open it. Let's test that it works. That one works. And let's try to open the hello world, and there you go. Great. So that's basically how you create a mini editor. Now there's many other functions, and I want you to explore some of the functions in there. For example, some of the things you might look at doing is playing around with the OpenFileDialog 1. So for example, let's just type OpenFileDialog 1 and press dot and see what sort of things there are. Filter. I wonder what filter might do. And play around and see if you can come up with a filter. Filter would allow you, just to give you a little hint as to where you might look on that one, would allow you to open only .txt files or only .htm files or things like that. And finally, what I'm going to get you to do is, last class we worked on creating a encrypt and decrypt program. Let's see if I can navigate to that file, and I'll show you one of the simple things I was playing around with in that. Let me just open up real quick. I made a demo here. In this one here. So for example, if I open a file, this one here, it is ABCD. And suppose I open this file here, I encrypted it. And it's basically that upped one. And so I put a tuner in here, and I used this to make it so I could tune a file. Aha! I now found the file and see where it works there. And so you can make a little program that would encrypt and decrypt, and that might be kind of a fun project to work on.